The trolls in your life have to pack up and move on. Welcome back to Wisdom Discerns. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, my name is Nicole and I am a seer. I am an inspirational, transformative life coach. And most importantly, I am a child of God just as well as you are too. These trolls' whole purpose is to show up in your life and disrupt your natural connection to the Most High God. And as they enter your life, they create unrealistic attributes as a form of escape by exploiting your soul via calcification. As we allow these energies to step into our life, what happens is that their presence begins to calcify our soul. And as your soul becomes calcified, it dehydrates your spirit. The Holy Spirit dwells in us, shows up in the space of our higher self, of our intuition, of our discernment. As these spirits dominate our vessel, it begins to defile the spirit via ritualistic practices, ultimately alienating your portal to the divine. See, the Holy Spirit speaks to us. It's our intuition. It's our ability to discern between not just people, but situations as well. But if you become alienated from the divine based upon the presence of these demonic forces, it imprisons the natural flow of estrogen and or testosterone, which will halt the development of the wisdom gifted to sustain the journey. See, the Most High God gifts us with the tools that are necessary to sustain us along our journey. But what happens is as these demonic forces come in, they begin to plant their seed. These seeds are sown into the vessel. And as they are sown into the vessel, they create many different areas such as addiction, aggression, many different health conditions, hopelessness, which is birthed into our vessel as these seeds begin to harvest, as they begin to take roots and form a root. That root, it grows inside of us, and often it grows in our head, it grows in our heart. And when I say that it creates different health ailments, I need you to know that the spiritual transmitted disease of Satan and his affiliates is a health ailment. It separates you from the Most High God. It plants mediocrity, which is often dressed as high fashion, designing a screen that keeps a film over your eyes, which is written and directed by oppressor. See, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And whether that presence of the demonic force, because that's what it is. See, the battle that we battle, it is not of flesh and blood. It's of the spiritual realm and principalities. And once we begin to know that, we realize that these demons, they jump into many different vessels. So it's imperative for us to continuously test the spirit, because that spiritual transmitted infection, because that's what it is, it's an STI. It shows up and it infects and infests the body. It's just as if there was a termite infection on the roof of a house. See, the roof is our crown. That's the crown of our head. If we see the similarity with the termites and how the infestation of those termites on the roof can destroy the entire foundation of a house, that will bring us to the realization of the importance of protecting and covering our crown. See, God said, I will protect you from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And when he said, protect your crown and ensure that we cover our crown, that means that we cover our crown with the protection of the Most High God. See, in some religions, they actually cover their hair. It takes you back to the presence of a newborn child when we realize that the top of their head is very sensitive because the skull hasn't quite developed. See, I want you to know, child of God, that along this journey, we remain in a developmental process. That is the stages of growth. But as you begin to develop, which means that you increase your wisdom along your journey, Matthew 12, verse 43. When an evil spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places, seeking rest, and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that man is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. That's those spiritual transmitted infections that I'm talking about. As these demonic forces leave your vessel, they wait and they're constantly monitoring you. That's those monitoring spirits. Just as the angels and God protects you and monitors you as you move on this earthly plane, these demonic entities, they also monitor you. They monitor your steps. They study your likes, your dislikes, because they want to find a way to tempt you along your journey. And that's that temptation that we are encouraged to shield and protect ourselves from. When temptation shows up in our life, we don't even recognize it because many of us is currently adhering to a script that is suited to fit someone else's lenses. When you realize that your life is being driven from someone else's scope, that's a hard one to admit. These factors can be completely difficult to address when accepting that a ventriloquist is the captain of your sea. Y'all, we need to be careful of these ventriloquists because they can show up in various forms. It can show up in many forms of abuse, whether domestic, substance, or narcissistic, which ultimately leave you disconnected, dehydrated, blinded, and depleted. See, remember, I said it can be domestic, it can be narcissistic, which means this can be your parents, which is our first teachers. This can be your significant others, which is the one that we look to for either leadership or support. This can be your children. This can be your employer, your place of employment. This can even be your place of worship that has the ability to drain you and to tax you because you're giving way too much of you. See, when I speak about temptation, the devil knows what you like, so they will tempt you. And sometimes this temptation can place you in the position of a martyr. But God did not create you to be a martyr, to martyr yourself to anyone's script that they have, which is currently dominating or orchestrating your life. It is not your job to fix everyone, to show up for everyone, leaving you neglected. You got to show up for you first. You see, remember when I started this video, I said the trolls have to pack up and leave your life. And any form of abuse, neglect, or disrespect, it has to exit your life. You cannot fix everyone. You cannot save everyone. And you are not a doormat. See, people have the ability to suck you dry. They will take your last sip of water knowing that you are going through your own individual desert moment. See, in order for God to reach us and to connect with us in the midst of that desert moment, which is your personal wilderness, we have to have the ability to remove the cloak from our own eye before we can pull it out of someone else's. Healing requires identification. This is a step that is often skipped. To avoid the pain that's currently brewing subconsciously, the makeup that shields the shadow self. See, the shadow self is the part of us that we hide, that we cover up, that we don't want people to see. It's the screen over the projection of our soul, which is the windows to our soul. The depths of the pain hidden behind our false sense of self, it's usually derived from trauma, y'all. There's always some place of trauma in our life, whether consciously or subconsciously, that is dictating the current status of our life. As you develop, see, with age brings wisdom, okay? But as your wisdom begins to refine, that temptation is always lurking, waiting for a weak spot within you so that those demons can come back into your clean vessel and take dominion over your kingdom. See, your kingdom is your dwelling space. This is your vessel. And we are encouraged to be careful of what we consume. It's the things that we ingest have to digest. And for many of us, it's the poor habits that need to die, okay? So that we can begin to develop and establish new systems. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment in the comment section below for me. The trolls have to exit my life. Have a blessed day. Peace.